Star Trek never really dealt with Spock and Picard's greatest tragedy. When Star Trek The Next Generation crossed paths with the legacy of the original series in the two-part episode Unification, it felt like a seismic moment for the franchise. Two towering icons, Captain Jean-Luc Picard and Ambassador Spock, found themselves working together toward a shared goal, the reunification of Vulcans and Romulans. But beneath the political intrigue and mutual respect lay something far more personal, something Star Trek itself never fully explored. Both men carried with them a profound, personal tragedy, one that connected them more deeply than either acknowledged on screen. That tragedy was family. More specifically, the families they couldn't save. Spock's family fractures. Spock's story is often told as a clash of logic and emotion, of Vulcan and human. Yet running parallel to his lifelong struggle for identity was a quieter, more devastating thread. His fractured relationships with those closest to him. His father, Sarek, remained a source of tension well into adulthood, their bond strained by disagreements about career, duty, and diplomacy. His half-brother, Sibak, rejected Vulcan discipline entirely and became a religious zealot, eventually dying in his quest for Shakari. And then there was Spock's decision to stay behind on Romulus in Unification. By the time of The Next Generation, Spock had drifted away not only from Starfleet, but from his Vulcan heritage, dedicating his later years to bridging the divide between Vulcans and Romulans. It was noble work, but it was also isolating, a choice that further alienated him from the Federation and, perhaps more painfully, from his family. When Sarek died, Spock did not reconcile with him. Their mutual stubbornness robbed them of closure. Spock's tragedy, then, was never truly the galactic crises he faced, but the personal failures at home, the loved ones lost to distance, pride, and time. Picard's family fire. Picard's tragedy, meanwhile, was heartbreakingly literal. In Star Trek Generations, audiences were blindsided by the death of Robert and Renee, Picard's brother and young nephew, in a fire at the family vineyard. It was a gut-wrenching moment precisely because Picard had always carried himself as a man who sacrificed family life for Starfleet duty. Robert and Renee were his legacy by proxy, the continuation of the Picard line that Jean-Luc had abandoned in favor of the stars. When they died, it wasn't just a personal loss, it was the extinguishing of his family's future. Picard, who had once dismissed the importance of children and domestic life, found himself staring into the void of a legacy that ended with him. For a man who had wrestled with duty versus desire, with exploration versus intimacy, it was the cruelest possible blow. Unification in tragedy. And yet, here lies the untold narrative thread. Spock and Picard shared this burden of family tragedy, but Star Trek never allowed them to truly speak of it. Imagine the resonance of such a conversation. Spock, the Vulcan who never reconciled with his father, might have found understanding in Picard, who carried the pain of losing his brother without reconciliation. Picard, who mourned a family line ended by fire, could have seen a mirror in Spock, who carried a family broken by division. Both men lived lives defined by service to ideals greater than themselves, but both also paid the ultimate price for that service in their private lives. Their meeting and unification hinted at shared respect, but left unspoken the deeper connection between them. That devotion to duty often leaves scars no diplomacy can heal. Why Star Trek looked away? Why didn't Star Trek delve deeper into this emotional overlap? Part of the answer lies in timing. Unification aired before Generations, so Picard's family tragedy hadn't yet unfolded. When the movie arrived, Spock wasn't present. Leonard Nimoy had declined to reprise his role in favor of letting the Next Generation cast stand on its own. Another reason may be Star Trek's tendency to compartmentalize. Family tragedy often served as backstory or motivation, but rarely as a shared character study across generations. Star Trek focused on ideas, political allegories, ethical dilemmas, visions of the future, sometimes at the expense of lingering on its characters' deepest wounds. Yet the missed opportunity remains tantalizing. Star Trek had in its grasp a profound moment of intergenerational connection. Two of its most beloved icons confronting the universal pain of losing family. What could have been? Had Star Trek leaned into this shared tragedy, we might have seen Spock and Picard not just as colleagues, but as mirrors of one another. Perhaps Spock, in his calm Vulcan way, could have helped Picard wrestle with grief after Robert and Reen's deaths. Perhaps Picard, so skilled at navigating diplomacy through empathy, could have given Spock the words he never found with Sarek. Even later series, such as Picard, skirted around this. The show explored Jean-Luc's regrets, legacy, and chosen family, but never connected them back to Spock's similar wounds. And with Leonard Nimoy's passing, the chance for such a scene is forever gone. The silent thread of Star Trek. What makes this unspoken connection so powerful is that it reveals a different kind of Star Trek story. Not one of space battles, time travel, or diplomacy, but one of quiet human truths. No matter how far you travel, know